So you just do the introductions, tell us your name, and then we talk about AltSchool. So nice to meet Wale. Wale has his checkered history from being a founder of TechPoint and many other tech companies. And now he runs a school, a global university for technology training called AltSchool. Wale, go ahead. Just give us the details, your introduction and all of that.
Okay. Hi, my name is Adewale Yusuf. I'm the co-founder and CEO of AltSchool Africa. What we are building is the future. We're enabling Africans to be part of the future of work. We're training people from tech to product to data, and also we are launching some other schools. We are an alternative school, which means any skills that is relevant for people, how can they acquire these skills and get jobs? Because right now we realize like a country like Nigeria and a continent like Africa really need a lot of jobs. We need people to be skilled, to be able to make money and put food on their table. And that's what we are training people. And we make sure it's affordable and also it's online. Anybody from anywhere can take it once you have access to internet.
Thank you. Wale, I want you to dial back. You've been running AltSchool for a while. You just had your graduation. How did that make you feel?
I was super excited because now we have over 1,000 people from different parts of Africa graduating. And that means a lot. That means it means the future for Africa, we can actually achieve this. We can get young people to actually be part of this. The good thing also is a lot of them have started getting a job even before they graduated. Some of them even intern for some schools in the US. I know some of them they intern for some companies rather in the US and they were earning like $7,000 even before they ended the program. I'm not saying everybody will earn that type of money, but at least people are getting their career started, they are getting jobs, and also they're not just getting jobs locally, they're getting jobs around Africa and around the world.
And I'm looking forward because I'm also planning sort of like a library. I'm looking forward to getting a lot of people from my village, Odobulu, and other parts of the world to be part of AltSchool. If they want to go to the website, what's the website? Before we come back and talk about you as a person, what's the website?
So the website is www.altschoolafrica.com. AltSchool is spelled ALT, then school, SCHOOL. Africa is AFRICA.com. AltSchool Africa, like alternative school, but AltSchool Africa. So, .com.
Well, let's talk about your story. Your story is very interesting. You were a man that slept under the bridge in Lagos. But today you are co-founder of one of Africa's biggest tech university to the world in the shape of AltSchool. How did this story begin for you? You also co-founded one of Africa's biggest tech media company. You are a disruptor par excellence. How did all of this start from you? For a man that left because his parents could not help him get education, and you slept under the bridge in Lagos. Wale, you can never tell enough of your story. Can you tell that story to all of our listeners?
All right. So for me, it's simple. Is the Nigerian and African story, which is like a wheel. You understand where you know where you're going, and we live in a world right now where people are being distracted. People think, oh, you have to do Yahoo and some of those things. And I said, no, you have to just have this strong will. I think my parents couldn't afford to send me to university, and eventually I realized I have to build one. And that was one of the reasons why I started building AltSchool. Now AltSchool is going, the way it's going is going to be the largest school on the continent, even if not in the world. But one of the reasons why we started is just for my own story, I just realized there is more to do. And there's more to myself than what I achieved. Then I heard about computer then, and someone introduced me to computer, hey, this will be the future. Then I started learning, and that's a good thing. Anybody can learn. with your mobile phone, with what you have, you can learn. And that's what we're building. And that's the future we actually tap into. And that was what changed my own story, what changed my own life. And today, I live in different countries around the world, and I can travel to different countries around the world because of what I'm doing. And the good thing about this is you don't need to, because it's a genuine work, it's a good work. The other country like the US, the UK, when they are welcoming you, they welcome you as a premium person. They welcome you as a special person. And that's one of the things I realized. And that's what other things won't give you. But you just need to focus, because you need to realize that these things are achievable. As I said, I don't have a bachelor's degree, you understand? But I'm able to do all these things. So anybody can do it. And that's what the possibility we are creating with AltSchool.
But Wale, your drive is bigger than that of any professor I've met in my life. And I must commend you for that. How did you, when you were sleeping under the bridge in Lagos, how did you envision that you'll be this big, that you'll now be a co-founder of one of the biggest online universities out of Africa? How did you envision that has partnership with the likes of Stanford University, that your picture and your company AltSchool have been put on, I think, is it a NASDAQ startup list or something?
On the New York Stock Exchange.
It's been put on the New York Stock Exchange. You've gotten visibility there. I mean, but this was you that, well, because I know the story, this was you that about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you were at a point a security man, a security guard in Lagos. Well, the world needs to hear that story, because there are a lot of people that are disillusioned trying to copy other people. You are a mega star today, and you are not going to copy anybody that wants to be a Guinness Book of World Record. Tell your story to the world, Wale.
So, for me, as I said, see, my story, the honest truth is, those times, I didn't see myself being where I am today. And that's the honest truth. But one thing I know is, it's possible. I didn't even know how big it is. I just wanted to do something for my life. I remember then, I never knew, I would ever even jump on a flight in my life. You understand? Because my story, I was coming from that type of place where there's no possibility. But I realized, in Africa, a lot of things haven't been created. We have a lot of opportunity. We just need to wake up. We just need to rise up to the occasion, and we need to try and do the best. And that's what I started doing. And the more I knock doors, I realized that, wait a minute, these doors are not open before because nobody was knocking them. And now that I'm knocking, they are open. We're working with some of the best schools in the UK. We're talking to some of the best schools in the US as well. And we are having conversation with them this is what we want to do with you for Africa. And that's what is possible. Because for Africa, anything is possible. I've been in places that I haven't, I went through a month, I didn't have money to eat. I was just eating lunch. I was sharing my friend's food lunch all through. So I ate 0, 1, 0. But today, it's never about that any longer. And that's one of the things I want to help Africans to understand. It's possible. And that's why I'm so excited to see the life of people transforming through the impact of, through what I'm doing. And that's one of the things I want to try and do. I want to make as many people as possible to be part of this. I want to get people to be exceptional, because we look like this is the end of it. A lot of Africa, a lot of people in Nigeria, I see our heads down. But this is not the end, because there is no way we can create opportunity. And with the internet right now, that we have access to internet, we can tap into knowledge around the world. We can tap into knowledge how the market like US is built, the market like UK is built, and some of the world's strong economy, they are built. We can get some of these people that built them to even impact this knowledge on us, because everything is about knowledge. It's nothing else. And for us, one of the luck we have is we are not we don't have natural disaster. There's no hurricane somewhere. There's no fire. There's nothing. It's just people disaster that we have, which is government leadership, but I won't go into that. But it's time for us to change. And that's one of the things I'm driving. Because for me, it looks like these things are years ago, but they are not long time ago. They're just like a decade ago that was still trying to also still earning 10,000 naira as a security guard and everything. And just look down now, a lot of things have changed, and it can change for everybody. And that's one of the things I want to do. And it's just knowledge. And the same knowledge you need to get is the same thing that your mobile phone. I started learning how to code on my own mobile phone, on Nokia then. All those Nokia, they weren't even internet as much as it is right now. Because right now everybody is on Facebook, on Twitter. You can talk to people on WhatsApp. The internet, the high leverage on, wasn't as big as this. So now we live in the knowledge economy. And that's one of the things we want to encourage everyone to do.
I mean, it's just so powerful because out of all of this, you've disrupted, you've built a big media company, TechPoint, which you co-founded. I remember the early days. I remember a lot of great work we did with TechPoint. Now you've also built a company that has worth millions of US dollars that is doing quite well, impacting people. I'd like to ask, what are the programs on AltSchool that people can learn? What are the programs? What are the faculties like?
So right now we have three. Number one is like engineering, software engineering, which is like code, which we have front end, back end, and cloud. See, these things, don't let it be strange and stuff. Once you can read and write and you can dedicate your time, you can learn them. And we'll teach you from even beginning what is computer, which larger percentage of people knows. That's number one. The number two is products. What is product? People that design product, people that build products you use. You use WhatsApp, you use Facebook, you use Google, you use everything. People design it. And a lot of companies are still designing their products. So there is product. We have product management, product design, and product marketing. So we're going to teach from scratch, from zero. That's why we teach. Then number three is data, which is now everybody is using data. Data is what people are gathering. Data is not the data you buy online that I'm talking about. Data is now your phone number, your name, your address, all those things you put online that people ask you. Some people are gathering these, understanding where you are coming from. Are you coming from Ibadan? Are you coming from Ijesha? Okay, so those things are data. And we have data engineering, we have data analysis, and data science. So those are three schools we have for now. But very soon we are launching some other schools as well. But these are three tech schools, and anybody can learn it. If you're doing JAMB, maybe you've done JAMB, you are still there, you haven't got into school. Even if you're in school, you can still apply. And if you're working as well, you want to change your career, you want to change something, you can do it. I told you. I was a security guard. Anybody can do this. And that's one of the things I'm preaching today. Like, anybody and everybody can do some of these things. We can build the world. You can change your story. Some people's story has changed. We have one of the lady that just graduated that is working in a company now. She has she's a mother of two. You understand? She's a mother of two. And now, she was a stay-at-home mom before. Now she's doing a job. She's excited. She's working in a company as a tech developer. And she learned from scratch. She didn't go to school for computer science. And that's one of the things we are trying to help everybody to do.
And you've graduated 1,000 people. How many more people have been able to join the scheme? Because have you started your recruitment for another session?
Yeah,
and how long are the sessions?
Our application is out now. We have a lot of people taking application. Once you go to our site, which is www.altschoolafrica.com, once you go to the website, you are going to read everything about the application. You are going to get an application, and once you get the application, you are going to take assessment. We're going to give you something to read to take the assessment. From the beginning, you will start seeing a lot of things you need to do. You start saying, how do you even send an email? How do you send proper email? What is computer? What is this? So a lot of things you are using on your mobile phone, and it will be different to you. You will understand some of these things different. And also some of the good story I see with our students is the way their life has changed. Their lives didn't just change with the education alone. It's just like the purpose of their life has changed. They now have something to live for. You understand? And that's what a lot of people need. You just need direction. And that's the most important thing, one of the things we are giving.
Okay, so the purpose of their lives have changed. There's a great deal of direction. When you go to, the website, I want you to speak to somebody out there that is lost, Wale. Somebody that feels they cannot do it, that feels everything is all over for them. I've seen a turnaround happen in your life. I've seen how you build companies, you build people. Today, the companies you build are doing well even after you've gone. Left those companies to do other things. TechPoint is still on top, doing quite well in the tech media space and all of that. You know, TechPoint events is still on top, doing well. Tech conference is still on top, doing well. You used to organize one of the biggest tech conferences, and you've moved on to other things in Nigeria. What would you tell somebody out there that is hopeless, that is listening to the show today?
For me, there's no reason to give up. And also, the one thing you need to know, that people need to know, is every one of us has 24 hours. The way you use your time there is what matters. Think of anybody today. This is not trying to be a motivation, Dangote or anybody. The same time is all we have. However, the way we use it is what matters. Let me give you an example. When I was in that place, when I was in a place of hopeless or stuff, when all of my friends are playing, when they are going around, all those things, that was when I was busy. I was busy reading books. I was busy in acquiring knowledge. Because I know, like, everybody in this life, we have their own shots. But when the chance comes, are you prepared? And that's one of the things I always do. See, you will have your chance, you like it or not. But that time you have chance, are you prepared? Let me give an example. Like, one of the things that started my life journey was I was looking for a security job. I wanted to get a security job, but they looked at me then in this Lekki here. They were like, I was too young. There's one company in Lekki here, Admiralty, that said, oh, you are too young, they can't get me. Even though I passed their assessment, but they said I'm too young, I can't. Then the HR looked at me, said I should come back the second day. Then he was looking at me like, you young boy, what are you looking at? Because I was very young then. He was like, what are you looking for in security jobs? I'm like, well, I'm here hustling in Lagos. I don't have much and stuff. Like, oh. And I knew one day, while we were taking the assessment, there was one guy that came from, I think, OAU, that graduated from OAU there. And the HR was asking the guy, like, oh, do you know computer? And the guy said he doesn't know computer. Because I overheard that guy that day. The second day, when the HR was asking me, I said, well, I know something about computer. Because lucky for me, I've learned a bit about computer, about all this mainstream and stuff. I work at a small cyber cafe there. You understand? Then I told the woman I know cyber, a thing about computer, and that's what changed. But I started changing my story. The woman said, "Oh, come back tomorrow." Then I started working with some white people in the office, and I started managing computer. We were the one that power all this. The job we work with Lagos State then, which is power all the tracking system. I was the one in control room that was able to complete, and that was when I was learning much. So when now that you feel like everything is gone, no, you still have the same 24 hours that Dangote, that Bill Gates, or anybody will have the same today. And some people will even have those time on the hospital bed that can't even do anything. But if you can do it, start leveraging on knowledge, because that will separate you in this world. And every time, that's what I invest my time to. I make sure I keep learning, and that has changed me, because when I enter different rooms, I have meetings with leaders around the world, and it's the same knowledge. And the same knowledge I had when I was doing security job. Forget security, when I was doing gateman. That same knowledge was the one I was now applying. I kept reading books. I used more than half of my income, more than half of my salary to buy books then. I was living in a Paco house. I was living in a place. It wasn't a real house. If it's rain, it flooded everywhere, mosquito, everything. But outside of that, I was still buying books and reading, because I know one day I will have a chance. And the moment you start doing that, you start even looking different. You start thinking different from a lot of people around you. Because I was living around the people where people will be smoking, people will be drinking, but I don't participate in that. People will be chasing girls. No, I don't participate in that, because I know there is much more for me. And today, I'm so glad that where I am, and also I want many people to be transformed. And I know I won't give up until that happens. And today, because of what I'm now doing, I'm seeing a lot of people working for different companies and actually now making difference in their own life.
It's just amazing and powerful, your story, and we can only pray God continues to help you. And today, from being a security man, living in a Paco house where the rain beat you drench you and all of that, you own a multinational global company that with offices in Nigeria, Rwanda, America, most parts of the world, and you keep impacting a lot of people for good, and that's just amazing. Thank you so much for inspiring the world, Wale.